Over the course of the length of the UFC's existence, trilogy bouts more often than not bring an end to a compelling series of fights between two men that are perceived to be equal.
Still the undisputed UFC!
We've seen in the past in the Dustin, Poirier and Conor McGregor trilogy, as well as the Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier fight, the winner of the trilogy bout is often dubbed as the better fighter.
Still the undisputed UFC!
And with the trilogy bout between welterweight great Kamaru Usman and welterweight champion Leon Edwards on the horizon, we can be almost certain that whoever comes out on top of this match is without a doubt the best fighter in the UFC's 170-pound division. Ladies and gentlemen, and fight fans all around the world, we are about to take a deep dive into UFC 286's main event matchup, Leon Edwards vs. Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman. August 20th, 2022, and Kamaru Usman was on the verge of making history. A win against Leon Edwards would have seen him surpass welterweight great Georges St-Pierre as the fighter with the most consecutive wins in the welterweight division, and by consequence firmly create an argument as to him being the one true GOAT of the welterweight division. And after the first 4 rounds of the fight, it certainly looked like that would be the case. Usman was dominating Edwards in the striking realm and also on the ground, and it seemed like a formality that Usman would eventually etch his name firmly in the history books.
That was the easiest takedown Usman's got.
But just as he was on the verge of completing a monumental victory, the most unexpected thing happened, and the once invincible Usman was sent literally to the shadow realm. It was a moment of shock as much as anything for the likes of Edwards, who couldn't believe what he had just done, for the commentators who couldn't believe their eyes, and for the MMA world at large, who were left in an utter state of consternation.
Oh! Oh! Oh my God! Oh!
But for Usman, it was a massive reality check. He approached the fight with an unerring level of destiny and certainty, and a level of confidence that he was going to defend his belt once again. And right before his eyes, that promise of destiny shattered, and he was sent crashing down to earth. But if the past 8 years of Usman's career has taught us anything, is that he has all it takes to bounce back. For close to a decade, Usman dominated the welterweight division in all ramifications, out-wrestling elite wrestlers and knocking out great strikers, and bar that 5-second mishap against Edwards last year, Usman was well on his way to victory. And if there's anything we've learned in this sport, is that it's to never count out great fighters. Speaking of great fighters, step forward, Leon "Rocky" Edwards. There is nothing perhaps more wholesome than seeing a fighter put in year after year of intense hard work and constant grafting, and the fighter finally surmounts all the odds to attain monumental success. And for Leon Edwards, that has certainly been the case. But like his nickname, his road to the top has been anything but smooth. Boasting an impressive win streak in the welterweight division following a decision loss to Usman in 2015, one would have expected Leon to at least be in the title conversation, but even after 8 consecutive victories, including wins over the likes of Rafael dos Anjos, Gunnar Nelson and Donald Cerrone, he was still getting largely overlooked by the UFC and the majority of the MMA world, as he was often being described as a point fighter and being boring. But after yet another dominant victory over UFC star Nathan Diaz, he finally got his first shot at UFC Gold, and it was one he intended to take full advantage of. From the lead up to the fight and the eventual fight night, there was a certain air of inevitability that Edwards was going to lose. He had won 9 fights in a row in one of the most stacked UFC divisions, but he was given no chance whatsoever by even his most loyal of fans, and after the first 4.5 rounds, it seemed evident that Leon would fall short of achieving his long-term dream. But just as the fight slowly reached its climax, Edwards landed a perfectly placed leg kick right to the side of Usman's head that sent him out cold immediately. And just like that, from the edge of defeat, Leon was the welterweight champion of the world in spectacular fashion. But given Usman's dominance for the majority of the fight, it really begs the question, who is the better fighter of the two? Leon versus Kamaru. UFC 286 is rapidly approaching, and regardless of speculation from media and fans alike, accurately predicting the outcome of this fight is highly improbable. Both men are arguably the most complete and well-rounded fighters in their division, with the champion Leon Edwards being primarily a kickboxer but has shown an incredible grappling ability, while Kamaru Usman might have been a wrestling-heavy fighter in the past but has shown incredible striking feats under the guidance of Trevor Whitman, so stylistically this fight is anyone's guess. Following the late head kick knockout, Edwards must be brimming with an insane level of confidence. Supplement this with his already insane skill set, and you could be looking at one of the most dangerous men pound for pound in the UFC. His striking is elite, with crazy cardio and a newfound will to finish a fight from the most precarious of positions. All in all, it would be safe to bet on a man who currently wields the belt. But in Kamaru Usman is quite an elite level of dominance. Regardless of what happened in the 5th round of the previous fight, Usman has surely done enough over the past 3 years to still be considered the favorite by many MMA analysts. He might not have the air of invincibility that he had prior to his last bout, but if the Kamaru Usman that won 14 fights in a row shows up, then you can be almost certain that he will recapture his position as the best welterweight in the world. Now, while all these are just pure speculation, the eventual fight night is fast approaching, and whatever the outcome between these two elite fighters, we're certainly in for an absolute banger.